Hello, I hope you're doing great today. Today we are going to see how to speed up our development with Entity Framework Core. Okay, so if you have ever developed a system using Entity Framework or Entity Framework Core, you should already know that you need to have a database context which is going to have a set of properties of DB set properties that are related to the classes representing the objects you are going to map to or from the database, right? So you basically have a DB context with a lot of DB set properties, each one referencing to each of the tables or objects you are going to map. Then you will have a set of classes, one representing each of the tables or objects you are going to map. And then you also need to configure the properties behavior, like if they are identities or auto-generated um, values, if they are foreign keys, if they are primary keys, if they are indexes, also how you need to specify the relationships among tables, for example, the navigation properties, things like that. Okay. When you have small databases, that is no problem at all. You can do that manually and there is no problem. Now, when you have huge databases, that process actually becomes a little bit complex, and the thing is that the time you use creating your entities or your mapped objects is not really going to be productive time, because you are basically just creating objects for being able to access the data without really progressing in the actual functionality of your system. Okay, there is a way to speed up that process and still be able to modify it or customize it however you want. Okay, that is by using some tools that you can add to Visual Studio from the extensions or from the market, from the extensions. Yeah. So you will see that in this case, if I want to generate some of the database data access code, I can right click this project, select the reverse engineered. In this case, I already have configured which project I want to, which database I want to get information from. Click OK. This project is a Entity Framework, a .NET Core 3.1 project, and I want to use Entity Framework Core 3. So say OK, and you see that here I have a lot of tables and things like views and things like that. I want to select everything at the moment, and I can click OK. Now, after I do that, it will show me this form or wizard, so I can further specify how I want all the classes to be arranged and named. Let's say that I just want to say that this one, I don't know, demo db context, something like that. I want to have my models, or in this case, I want to have my models in an entities folder, and I want to have my db context in a data folder. db, well, I'll use contexts. Okay. Also, I want to pluralize or singularize generated object names. and I don't want to use data annotation attributes to configure the model. I rather, in this specific scenario, um, have my local classes as clean as possible and use Fluent API for configuration. So that actually, whether you use data annotations or Fluent API, it's based actually on what you prefer. Sometimes it's actually easier and better to have your classes with data annotations because the configuration is a lot easier doing it that way. The problem or the caveat with that is that your Poco classes are not really going to be that Poco because they will have um, data access, data annotations linked to them. So they are not really going to be that clean. So you see that here I have all of my classes. This is the context folder. This is the actual context class that was generated with all DB sets for the all the tables and objects that the code reference. Here is all of the of the Fluent API configuration for all of the objects. You can see that it actually even sets the schemas because the database is actually a multi-schema database. And now you will see that here I have a lot of classes, which are actually going to be all the classes representing the objects that I want to be able to access from the database using Entity Framework Core. You see that actually this process was really fast, and it took me just a couple of minutes to just set up the connection string that I had already done it before the demo. If you are, for example, if you have a database project included in your solution, you can actually import from the changes in that project itself, so you don't even need a connection string or connected to get the to do the reverse engineering, because you can actually use do the reverse engineering from the database based on the database project. Yeah, the tool is actually a tool named EF reverse core, I believe, or power tools. So you can go to extensions. Let's go to manage extensions. You will see it around here, EF core power tools. So if you don't have it installed, you just go to online, you search here for EF core power tools, then you request for install it. It will probably request to restart the Visual Studio. You restart it, and after you restart, you will have this EF Core Power Tools option in here, and you can do the reverse engineering. Yeah, that's really helpful. I actually recommend to use those extensions. Um, the extension is actually really good. It speeds up your process, and it actually generates the classes in a very good in a very good way, and it actually even implement the partial methods support. So you will see that, for example, in some of the overridable methods, it will have some calls to the partial method. So you will see the on model creating method. It has a on model creating partial invocation at the end of it, which is a definition for a partial method that you can actually implement in another class or in the partial class that you are going to use. So let's say that I want to have context, um, partials, demo dv context. This is going to be a public partial class, demo dv context. For matching it to the other class, I need to have it in the same namespace. And let's see. Let's just do some tests, verify that this is actually the same object. Yeah, this is the same. This is already able to access the other the entities in the other file. So yeah, and then you will see that I can do something like partial model creating partial, do whatever I want need to do there, and then when the onModel creating partial is being when the onModel creating is being executed, at the end of that line it will invoke the onModel creation partial method, which is defined in this other class. So yeah, it actually they did this very well by adding the support for partial configuration, partial methods, and that's great. I do recommend this tool. Yeah, I hope you have liked the video, that it has been useful for you. Remember, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can get notifications as soon as the videos are being uploaded. Also, please share the videos, share the channel, do some likes, and let us know in the comments what would you like to learn about .NET Core, Azure, and Unity 3D. Thank you very much and have a great day.